Hey guys, I wanted to just shoot a quick video um, addressing some of the things I've seen this week. That, for those who aren't aware, we've had another baby killed here in Brooklyn. Drive by in a park Sunday night. 1-year-old is shot in the stomach while sitting in his stroller and then dies on the way to the hospital. Now, I want to bring this up because it's a tragedy that I'm not seeing many people at all on social media who are so loud about injustice, talking about. I want to bring this up because this isn't the only child who's been killed in the last, month. We have had, before this, 9 children just killed in senseless violence because in these cities that have either disbanded or taken the power from their cops, the authority from their cops, by essentially making them powerless, because if they do anything, they fear being prosecuted by their own city for doing their job. So now you have people who care nothing about the law, who scores to settle, or just want to terrorize the neighborhoods, and the casualties are our children. And yet I will see people who, when this is brought up, make excuses that, well, these protests aren't about senseless killing. They're about police brutality and have nothing to do with the children's deaths. And I just scratch my head, just wondering how you can say these things so coldly. You have no feelings for this. You just want to separate them. Go, no, the marching and our protests are separate from this. They're completely separated. Except they're not. There's a thing which we all learned in school called cause and effect, causality, right? To one event, process or state contributes to the production of another event, process or state where the cause is partly responsible for the effects and the effect is partly dependent on the cause. We have had protests in this city, in huge cities across the country, where I've had people tell me that they're here fighting for justice. That no, we aren't calling for the police to be defunded. We're calling for the police budgets to be allocated to other things. We don't want them completely gone. And yet, here in New York City, we had a 600 officer group of plainclothes officers disbanded. Now, they weren't fired, but they were reassigned back into uniform. And that means we have criminals on our streets who now know there are no plainclothes officers anywhere. And these plainclothes officers, one of their biggest things we're doing was getting guns off the streets. And we have babies dead. Cause and effect. It's such a thing. Because I do say we, because guess what? Nobody stood up to stop them. We as a people stood up and called for the police to be disbanded. Now, I have had some people say, well, I don't want that. I want people to be held accountable. Well, guess what? You walk like a duck, you talk like a duck, you're a duck. If you align with the same group who wants them defunded and want them gone, what else can you say? How can you defend it? The cause and effect of it You ask for the police to be defunded. You demand the police to be defunded. In a city like ours, we have a mayor who goes, you know what? That's along my agenda. Let's do that. I'll even paint Black Lives Matter in front of Trump Tower to show that I'm with everybody. And then when someone splatters paint over it, I will make more of a fuss about the paint going over my mural that I'm using for political gain over the death of a baby. A black baby. He's over here mad about a mural about Black Lives Matter, and yet a black life didn't matter. I've asked several people this question for the last 2 months. Who has to die before people start thinking? And I said this before cops started being killed. I had warned people, you start acting this way, you start talking this way for violence, it's going to escalate, and it won't stop at cops. Here we are, at almost 100 days later, and not 100 days, maybe 50 days. 50 days later. And 10 dead babies between the ages of 1 and 11. Children who had a future gone. And people want to make excuses how this movement has nothing to do with them. Except it does, guys. Cause and effect. We need to think about this. How much further are we willing to let things go out of hand?